All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Final Bell. Some breaking news out of today.
Yes.
As we're recording on a Monday, uploading on Wednesday at 5. WWE has just been sold
Sold.
to the same company that
The
is in
parent company
charge
of
of
UFC,
USC.
Endeavor.
Yes. So now WWE and USC are going to be joined into one company, a
Yeah.
$21.4 billion sports entertainment company.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
so
sports and
I kind of made a joke to Marty earlier. I'm like, so if really truly, if Brock Lesnar wanted to go back to the UFC, he would be allowed to, because Dana White and Nick Khan are going
in
to be
theory, yes.
the presidents of Endeavor for both
Yeah.
WWE and UFC.
Yeah. And
Holy shit, man! Endeavor was not one of the ones that were originally
it was
on the
initially
list.
like a Saudi company, and now
Endeavor is the owner of WWE, as Vince McMahon sold WWE to Endeavor. Personally, good move, bad move. I don't know how to really truly think about this, to be honest with you.
I mean, I look at it this way. Endeavor, as of late, has been like jacking up the prices with UFC pay-per-views, so it's safe to say that
Peacock is probably not going to be the home of.
Well, see, here's the thing: WWE has a contract with Peacock up until I believe they said it was 2026.
Yeah, so it's safe to say that they cannot break the contract unless somehow Endeavor buys out the contract.
That's more than likely to happen.
Which could happen.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that your WWE network ain't going to be the WWE network anymore. That you're going to have to start paying, like what AEW fans have to do, is start paying probably $50 to start either watching it on. Something tells me, how much do you want to bet that you're going to start seeing WWE programming on ESPN Plus? Because UFC pay-per-views are on ESPN Plus. How much do you want to bet that all your Peacockers are going to have to start going to ESPN Plus to watch WWE events? Because honestly, USC is under ESPN Plus for their USC pay-per-views every month.
They're not going to be happy because they have their platform in Peacock, and now you have to have them migrate to another platform
honestly,
to get pay-per-views.
This is probably going to piss a lot of WWE fans off.
Yeah.
But do you think this is a good move for WWE heading into the future? Because you don't have Vince McMahon that's under control anymore.
So that's actually, they talked about that during the press conference. He will be in charge of the creative for, because he mentioned it. He was like
So does that mean that Triple H is no longer head of creative anymore?
He's the chief content executive of WWE.
Which means, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to start seeing a lot of these wrestlers leaving WWE again and going to fucking AEW or Impact or ROH. So guess what, WWE? Like I said for many years, did I not call this? That in like 5 years, WWE is going to go, pfft. I called it. I said it on the show before. Call me a WWE hater all you want, but let me tell you something. Your beloved WWE ain't going to be a company in like 3 or 4 or 5 years. I don't give a crap if it's owned by Endeavor. Endeavor is going to be the worst thing that has happened to WWE, especially with Vince McMahon head of creative again. Because let me tell you something. Half of that talent that was re-signed back under Triple H, you're not going to see in by next year.
Yeah, so
Braun Strowman is going to be gone. LA Knight, gone. Bray Wyatt, gone.
Maybe LA Knight not gone, but he would probably more than likely be
all
back
this
with
talent that's supposed to be considered getting big pushes aren't going to be getting big pushes. Roman Reigns still being champion, I hate to say it, he ain't going to lose those titles under Vince McMahon.
No.
It's not going to happen. So let me tell you something, Cody. Do you feel stupid leaving AEW now?
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Mr. Oh, battle for 2024, it's probably safe that you stay with AEW after
Yeah.
hearing this. Because unless you want to be Vince's little
MJF doesn't
bitch.
even need a fat extension anymore, not for nothing.
But
Cause
let me tell you something. This I will say is a bad move for WWE heading into the future because first off, if Vince somehow doesn't like live another 5 years, then you're going to be into the same bullshit thing that you were before. You know, Vince Stephanie isn't anywhere even close to being with WWE anymore.
yeah.
You have Triple H now. He's going to be the CCO or something like that.
Well, he would be back in charge of like creative and all that stuff, but then
What Triple H is in charge of creative, or
he
is it
would
Vince?
be. No, it's Vince. It's definitely Vince. So, because they meant, like I said, they mentioned it during
So
the press conference.
Vince is head of creative now.
Yes.
So
Well,
so that means
okay,
that Triple
okay. So
H. Okay, I'm
let
so
me
confused on
let
what's
me
going
pull up the
on.
tweet
Sorry,
here.
people. As
Let me pull up
we
the
are,
tweet here.
you know, we don't know too much of the details. We are gonna definitely talk about it here. But as we are also going to be talking about, ROH, Supercard of Honor, and Impact's Multiverse United. But also, we need to talk about, get the facts about what the merger was. Well, UFC and WWE are
Yeah.
back
Okay.
together.
Well, no. Okay. So
as you have in the past on the creative side? Um, yes and no. On a higher level, yes. And the weeds, which I was going to get in the weeds in the past. No, can't do that. But on the creative side.
so yeah. Oh, like on a higher level, he's going to be part of the creative team. But in
So what is basically safe to say is that anything like higher up, but I think he's not in charge of the weekly creative, but he can have a
well,
say of what
he's
happens.
definitely like he's still a board member at the end of the
Right.
day. Like he's still the head of like the
But I
board
think
of
it's still going
directors
to
and
be
everything.
Triple H being kind of like head of creative.
I
So
mean, either way, I don't know what
again,
this means.
I don't think this is going to be a good thing for WWE in the long run. I think that, they're not going to have as much say as they did in the past because Endeavor is going to be like, well, what we want, we're going to get because we own you now. So WWE has to do basically whatever Endeavor tells them
Yeah.
now. So I hate to say it, but I don't think this is a good move for WWE as they're not going to have any control of what is going to go on. So honestly, ladies and gentlemen, you can comment, you can like and subscribe, and let us know how you feel about this. Do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's a bad move? Personally, I think it's a bad move because um you're not gonna we don't know exactly what's gonna be happening with WWE and UFC. So UFC is still gonna be UFC. I don't think
Yeah.
anything's gonna change with that because they've been with Endeavor before. Um,
I mean, I don't know how long they've been under Endeavor, but yeah, like
but
either
honestly,
way.
personally, with WWE, I get it. It's the top wrestling company out there. But I think that, like in a few years, Endeavor is really gonna like make it like where it's not. And this is why we've left WWE, a lot
Yeah.
longer than people say because it's like shit like this, especially with um, we'll talk about a few things for WrestleMania as this is our WrestleMania weekend episode. Congratulations to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Well deserved that they won the
Yes.
tag team, that they are the undisputed tag team champions, beating the Usos. From what I hear, it was the best tag team match that has happened in WWE in like a very, very long time. One
I
and
wouldn't
two,
know.
let me tell you something. Under Vince, you would not have seen a tag team match as the main event of night one.
Hell no.
Tell you that now. It probably would have been John Cena versus Austin Theory. Let's be honest with you. Which I think was
Maybe.
originally supposed to happen, but they flip flopped it. I think they were
No, actually, what was initially supposed to be the main event was Rhea versus Charlotte. And then I think actually what ended up happening with that is it was the second to last match. So
right. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Rhea Ripley beating um, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair basically almost like passing the torch to Rhea Ripley, it seemed like, but who knows? Um, Congratulations to Bianca Belair for holding the Raw
Yeah.
Women's Championship well over a year. That's awesome. Um, Also, WWE, what are you doing with Roman Reigns? Like, first off, Cody loses to Roman Reigns, not even clean,
Hmm.
but dirty tactics to remain the undisputed Universal Champion, WWE Universal Champion. Um, and tonight, or on Raw,
Hmm.
as you know, recording on Monday, releasing on Wednesday, so um, they apparently it's going to be Cody Rhodes and a mystery opponent against Solo Sikoa
And a mystery partner, you mean?
and Rome.
Yeah. Cody and a mystery partner against Roman and Solo Sikoa.
No, actually, I think Solo and it's like I don't know if it's Roman, but
Probably not Roman. But
no, I
either
think it's
way,
Solo and like somebody else against Cody and a mystery
Yeah.
opponent,
Either
mystery
way.
tag team partner.
Yeah. Either way.
Safe to say it's probably going to be a call up or a return that's going to team up with Cody.
I mean, the Raw after WrestleMania is usually full of like
But
surprises.
personally, if you have Roman on the show, you have a rematch between Cody and Roman, and you actually have Cody beat Roman. Personally, I think what you should do is have a steel cage match or a Hell in a Cell where Bloodline can't interfere in the match. You have Cody win. Because, first off, this is the same crap that he had to deal with in AEW where he just fell short of getting the world title.
yeah.
He couldn't
However,
compete for the
like,
world
yeah.
championship because he
So-
lost.
Well,
Now he's going to WWE
Yeah.
where he can't even capture a WWE World Championship.
well, see, that's another thing too that like doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, oh, he stuck true to his stipulation. It's like, dude, if you only turned heel in AEW, you could flip the stipulation, you could become an AEW World Champion, and then
I know. I get it. He doesn't want to be heel. He'd rather be a face.
he'd rather be that like white hot baby face that WWE has been desperately looking for years.
Right.
And it's
Well,
like,
since John Cena.
yeah.
But the problem is that Cena wasn't willing to go heel. And fans just kept on shitting on him. And then what did he do? When the times got tough, he just disappeared.
Well, it's funny too because now everybody loves John Cena
Well, because he's not around.
because he's not but even he knows that his time is coming up.
Right. But if there's any way you can really lose the fans that also wanted Cody to win, I mean, he was undefeated. Why not keep him undefeated, have him as a champion, keep his undefeated streak going for a little bit before he truly loses those titles to whoever wins the Money in the Bank? I think how you can right this wrong is have him win the Money in the Bank and have him cash in the contract to winning the titles. But the problem is that you don't know when Roman's going to be back. Roman's
Yeah.
rumored to come back, what, SummerSlam?
Yeah.
See, this is what makes no sense. So you're okay with having no world champion on your program, and then you have Cody who's got to literally fight, crawl, scratch, get the back into the title picture. For what? So then he could probably lose to Roman again? Like, this is what I'm getting at. This is why I just can't stick behind the product.
Yeah. It's not good.
Because, as much as fans want to shit on AEW, you don't see that crap happening there. You really don't. They push organic
Hangman.
talent.
That leads me to a good point and a tweet that I saw earlier. They let Hangman Adam Page finish his story at Full Gear 2021 against Kenny Omega. Granted, yes, his story ended a little prematurely because of some backstage politics with one CM Punk. We won't get into that. That'll just be a very long and lengthy
Right.
conversation. But either way, the point still stands that AEW let Hangman Adam Page finish his story. Why couldn't WWE do the same with Cody Rhodes?
Right, exactly. See, this is where I'm getting at. Like, Cody Rhodes had a comeback of the year off of, the pectoral tear.
Yeah.
Comes back, he wins the Royal Rumble, is undefeated since his return, and then you have him lose at the biggest stage of them all in the main event of night 2. Like, that just makes no sense to me. But other than that, before we really go on and on about it, I think we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about on this show and start with Multiverse United and then go to Super Card of Honor.
Yeah, so Multiverse United, as far as I know, didn't have a countdown, or unless if they did, it was the live Impact that they had like an hour before. Um, so with that, we start off with a six-man scramble for the X Division title between Trey Miguel, Rich Swann, Rocky Romero, Clark Connors, Kevin Knight, and Frankie Kazarian. And Trey Miguel retains, beats all 5 of those other men to kick off Multiverse United. Then we get into an 8-man tag between the team of PCO, Alex Coughlin, Fred Rosser, and Callahan. He's still technically called Callahan, even though on this show he was
announcer called him Sam Callahan. Yeah. I know.
They beat the team of Joe Hendry, Eddie Edwards, J.R. Kratos, and Filthy Tom Lawler.
Just know that we believe.
We do believe. Even though he lost, we still believe. This next match, man, it was a hoss fight. And it was a just hard-hitting back-and-forth contest between Jeff Cobb and Moose.
Yeah, Jeff Cobb, we'll talk about him also on Super Card of Honor. He was busy.
Oh, yeah, he had a busy WrestleMania weekend.
He had a busy Thursday and Friday, let's say that.
But either way, the match ended with Jeff Cobb giving Moose a tour of the islands for the 1-2-3. Then we have Fatal 4-Way match with big implications. 4 knockouts competing for a #1 contender spot at the Knockouts World Championship. Deonna Purrazzo, Gazelle Shaw, Miyu Yamashita, and Masha Slamovich. And Deonna Purrazzo is heading to Rebellion. She is competing for that Knockouts World Championship. So, by Rebellion, we should know whether or not Mickie James will be able to defend her title, or if we're going to have to crown a brand new Impact World Champion, vacate the title, and we're guaranteed a new champion, or Mickie James will defend it in a triple threat. So next up, the Impact Tag Team titles on the line. Bullet Club, Too Sweet, taking on TMDK, Shane Haste, and Bad Dude Tito. The Motor City Machine Guns and Aussie Open. And Aussie Open, you want to talk about somebody that had a busy WrestleMania weekend on top of Jeff Cobb. Aussie Open.
Yeah, no.
But either way, Bullet Club retained in a just with a 1-2 sweep. Then we had Kushida taking on Lio Rush. This match kind of came a little prematurely, and it was kind of like they had to have a fill-in for the injured Josh Alexander, who was initially supposed to be the one taking on Kushida on this show for the Impact World Championship, but unfortunately, we had mentioned it, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago for Sacrifice, that Josh Alexander came down with a torn tricep and thus had to vacate his championship. So, with that news, they did have to find a replacement kind of right then and there, and they found Leo Rush, the problem child, or the bad child of chaos. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, he took on Kushida and ultimately lost to Kushida. Then we have another.
The problem child is Jake Paul. We don't want to talk about him.
That's right. But either way, then we have the second of two championship matches. Kenta putting his New Japan Strong Openweight Championship on the line against one Minoru Suzuki. And the match went as I would have expected. Very hard hitting between both competitors. Minoru Suzuki, even at his age, can still kick your ass. But yeah, so Kenta, still your New Japan Strong Openweight Champion. And then in the main event, the highly anticipated main event, which was supposed to be Speedball versus Will Ospreay, another match that unfortunately they had to book around that. And
yeah, I was going to say another name that had a busy week,
weekend. Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yes.
And we'll talk about Hiroshi Tanahashi for Supercard of Honor as well.
Mm-hmm.
It did. You couldn't really see it in this match, but in his Supercard of Honor match, we'll get into that. But either way, so yes, what was supposed to be Speedball Mike Bailey versus Will Ospreay ended up getting changed because Ospreay went down with an injury. The injury bug is just going around, man. It really sucks. Ospreay had to miss both Supercard of Honor and Multiverse United, and is expected to be back sometime this month, they said.
Good. Because honestly, again, we need to see United Empire versus the Elite at Forbidden Door. It needs to happen.
Yes. If not,
rekindle the rivalry between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay for the time being, but this time in a trios match. It needs to happen.
It kind of it seemed like they were teasing that last year, or at least not last year, but like
I said, I hope it happens because that would be one hell of a match to see in Toronto and Scotiabank Arena.
So either way, though, we'll get back into this match at at Multiverse United between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Speed. So I expected Speedball to get the win, but instead, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Look, you can't beat the ace.
You
can't beat him. He's the 8-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion for a reason.
Yeah. He did beat Speedball Mike Bailey with the high fly flow. At least I'm pretty sure he did. I don't exactly remember the finish to the match. I just know that Hiroshi Tanahashi beat Speedball. It would make sense if he did beat Speedball with the high fly flow. I mean, that is his finisher. So I'm pretty sure he beat Daniel Garcia at Supercard of Honor with the high fly flow, though. But either way,
that
is sorry. That is Multiverse United. Now we get on to Supercard of Honor.
Yeah, so so it was a very stacked card,
even with the 0 hour.
Yeah, we had 10 matches in all, but 8 on the main show and 4 on the 0 hour. Yeah, I know, crazy to think about. So we start off. Yeah, we already talked about this man, Jeff Cobb.
Yes.
Faces off against Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
Oh yeah,
you want to talk about? I was gonna say you want to talk about a tour of the islands. Apparently,
everybody's out here.
Everybody's getting a tour of the islands as Jeff Cobb beats Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. How about this one? Takeshita and Willie Mack. These two brought it against each other.
That's another thing too. Is Ospreay supposedly the report came out that he was supposed to have a match against Takeshita on Supercard of Honor, but again, the injury with Ospreay postponed this potential matchup.
So yeah, Takeshita and Willie Mack was just announced just right then and I know it's before the 0 hour.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it lived up to what it could have been. Honestly, Willie Mack and Takeshita really went against at each other. They beat the living crap out of each other. Takeshita is nobody to take lightly at all, as I think he's a future ROH World Champion, if not an AEW World Champion.
Maybe even a television champion
It would be
for
nice because I think he
ROH,
can
or
be
even a
somebody that
TNT
can.
champion for AEW,
Right,
maybe even an
exactly.
international champion for AEW.
Honestly, I mean, Willie Mack is one hell of an athletic dude for his size, to be honest with you. I tell you that. The way that he flips and everything.
Yeah.
How about the flips outside of the ring there? I mean,
Oh my
first it
God,
was
yeah.
Kenoshi Takeshita,
Those
and then
top rope
and then Kenosuke throws him in and is like, "It's your turn, buddy." And then he does an over the top rope plancha. I was like, "Oh my gosh, all right."
It was Takeshita threw him back in. He starts grandstanding. Next thing you know, Willie Mack was hitting the ropes to do a plancha of his own.
Right. I mean, these two men like literally brought it. This was a hell of a match. And you don't really get a hold. This is awesome on the 0 hour, but the fans were chanting, "This is awesome" between when these two men were facing off against each other, and every right to be able to, because I tell you what, these two should have probably wrestled on the main card of how good the matchup was, to be honest with you. But
I don't know if I would say that, but it was definitely.
But ultimately, Takeshita does beat Willie Mack.
Yeah.
As he should. So next match, we get Willow Nightingale and Miranda Alizé.
I mean, Willow's like positive energy just rubs off on everybody.
Yes,
like
it
everybody
does.
was just like clapping along with Willow.
Tell you what, sometimes Nightingale does show a pretty dark side, especially in that match against Alizé.
Her entrance is one thing because it gives off that positive energy, but once that bell rings, man, she just turns it on and just she will throw.
I think she's somebody with more time behind her belt and more years of experience. I think she can possibly eventually challenge Athena for the title.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she has challenged Jade like twice for the TBS title.
Ultimately,
but,
Willow Nightingale does beat Miranda Alizé. You get another W in her win column there in ROH. And we get on to the last match of the 0 hour between Stu Grayson and Slim J. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno have returned to Ring of Honor.
The Super Smash Brothers live on.
Yes, Player Dos
and Player Uno.
Yes. But ultimately, in this match, Stu Grayson was able to beat up on a ROH OG and Slim J and gets the victory. But it doesn't come with a shock, as Vincent and Dutch have returned to ROH. They are honor once more.
Yeah. Well, at least Vincent is. Dutch, on the other hand, kind of left. And
honor no more. Who is that?
Yeah.
Who is that? Honor no more, because half of that crew that was in Honor No More are back in Ring of Honor.
Well, only just the one, but I mean, because Eddie Edwards and Kenny King are a tag team in Impact Wrestling now, so or at least that's like.
I guess what it means is that you got some more competition in the ROH tag team division, honestly.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's another thing too. They came down to basically challenge the Dark Order. So.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens on ROH television on Thursday. Make sure to tune in.
Yes.
We will be talking about it.
Yes, we definitely will be.
Next up, man.
Oh my God!
The start of Super.
I know. What a way!
What a way to start!
What a way to start!
Pay-per-view.
Because these two men in a 30-minute time limit. Oh my God! These two men brought it. This was a lucha libre match if I ever saw one.
Yeah.
Like these two competitors brought great honor to no pun intended.
To Ring of Honor, yeah.
No,
Well,
the triple A,
Oh yes,
the
yeah,
Lucha
yeah.
Libre
You know
itself.
what? Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, these two men brought it.
Well,
We already knew the kind of competitor that El Hijo del Vikingo
Elio
was,
del Vikingo, yeah.
but I have never seen Commander before. Commander before, and I tell you what,
We did
I
not
might be a
watch the.
fan.
We
I
did
might
not
be a
watch.
fan of
Yeah.
both.
We unfortunately did not watch the
It's
Faith of
very
the Revolution
hard.
ladder match.
I was
so
gonna say
we
it
did
is
not
very
know.
hard for me to like two of the same competitors in the ring that face off against each other. But let me tell you something. I think it might have been. I think they've made a
You
fan
made
out
a
of.
fan. Commander made a fan out of you.
I no, honestly, both of them
Well,
have
yeah.
become like because
I
let
mean,
me tell
I
you
knew
something.
about like Vikingo
The
before,
high
but-
spots, the
Oh
630
my
senton
God.
through the table, which by the way, I am the table. It did not break.
Did not break.
Which I think is crazy, but
Hey,
hey.
Matthew, how you doing?
But these two men, the rope to the spin on Vikingo.
Well, what about?
How about the
what
crazy
about the,
like her and Karana like?
That's what I was gonna get into. Like he like flipped into a Hurricane Rana spot on Commander.
Like that's
Vikingo.
like crazy.
And then of course Commander doing his usual walking the ropes and then doing that.
But what about the walking the ropes to the high flip, man? I tell you what, that was a high freaking dive.
I tell you what. What about the I forget what led to it, but the Canadian Destroyer on the apron.
Oh, dude, I know that was crazy, man.
I forgot what led to it, but yeah, like well, what's even more surprising is we talked about it, the 630 to the outside through, quote unquote, through that table. He actually cleared that landing.
I know.
Like and you know, because you notice when he did it to Omega on Dynamite, he barely stuck that landing. He was like nearly this close to hitting the back of his head. But if you think about it,
apron. The table also was a little bit further away from the ring. This time, he moved the table closer to the ring.
No, because the table was in the same exact spot.
I don't know. Apparently, Vikingo has a.
I mean, I don't know. Like
has a vandalization of tables. He likes to use them in his match, almost like Hikaru Shida with a chair, and going off the chair into the.
But see, with the table being on the outside and like him using it and everything, that should technically be a disqualification.
It never will be. Unfortunately, you see it way too often in professional wrestling.
It's not a disqualification anymore, which is weird because like how is that not a disqualification?
It just isn't. I mean,
it's still a weapon. A table is still a weapon.
I mean, if you're using it and bashing the guy, that's considered a weapon. But if he's going through it,
okay. So then, how do you explain Chris Jericho getting disqualified for putting Road Dogg through a table in his debut match on SmackDown?
I don't know, man. Rules are rules. What can I say? And rules are meant to be broken.
Rules change and adapt every time.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
but ultimately,
not for nothing.
Congratulations to this man. Yeah. El Hijo del Vikingo beats Commander to retain the AAA Mega Championship. Man, I tell you.
Now, this next match, the result kind of surprised me because of all the stuff surrounding it.
Right.
Not for nothing.
Airbox, Metalik, and Blake Christian face off against the Embassy for the 6-man tag team championships.
And why I say that the result surprised is because, like, weeks beforehand, it had come out of that Brian Cage's contract with AEW, or AEW / like ROH. Was coming to an end.
Yeah, but I think that he might have signed a
I think
extension.
It's safe to say at this point he signed an extension. Because why else would...
Then again, I'm very safe to say that maybe the same thing might have happened to FTR, too. I think they maybe secretly signed an extension, and we'll definitely stay
We'll see
tuned later
on.
tonight.
I was gonna say we'll see on Wednesday on Dynamite later tonight.
Yeah, later tonight we'll have to see what
We'll
happens
see.
between those two. But ultimately, the NBC do retain against AR Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian. Um, kind of was shocked about it, but honestly, I guess it was an all right match. I mean, maybe not the
Yeah, and so
but
those
this
titles
one,
did not get a redesign,
no, it did not.
but
But most of all the other ones did.
yes,
The Pure Wrestling Championship did. The
this
World
next match that
Championship
we're getting
did. The
into,
Women's World
yes,
Championship did. And
and the tag
the
team
tag
titles,
team titles.
yeah,
Yeah, the tag team titles look nice now.
they really which and speaking of the tag team title, I did not even realize this until somebody had pointed it out on the side plates for the championship. Mark and Jay are on.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Honestly, they should be because, not a lot of people can say that they're 13-time champions with
Well, not to
one
mention,
company.
the Briscoes are almost synonymous with those tag team titles.
Yes, yes, they are.
So I mean,
They've been there basically since the start.
yeah, it's only fitting in a way for them
Actually,
to.
that's where they got their start. They literally got
They
their
got their
start
start
with
in Ring of Honor
ROH.
and have been there since the beginning.
Right, exactly.
Literally the
but
first show.
this next match, I tell you what, these two literally beat the living crap out of each other. Yuka Sakazaki
Yeah.
was competing injured, by the way. Her neck, you
Yeah.
could see the tape.
They
were talking about it that her neck wasn't 100%.
Kinesiology tape.
That's probably why she wasn't able to really go at Athena with full strength.
If that's the case, then I don't know if you really should have had Yuka Sakazaki out there.
I get it, but she called her out.
With all due respect to Yuka,
right.
Yeah, she did put on a hell of a performance.
She really did. Honestly, I give Athena a lot of credit, but Yuka Sakazaki, I tell you what, the times that we have seen her competing on AEW television,
yeah,
she has been one hell of a competitor. Really one hell of a competitor.
She's still doing her own thing in Tokyo, Joshi Pro, TJPW there, but
right. But ultimately,
in the American promotion, she's
right. But ultimately, Athena does retain.
Yeah.
As I kind of figured it would happen.
And now, with that, on Thursday's episode of Ring of Honor Television, Athena has challenged Miyu Yamashita. So
yeah, crazy to think about.
To go from one Japanese wrestling Joshi legend, well, I say legend, but that's kind of putting it mildly.
I think she just wants to go out there and prove that she is the best women's champion out there, honestly, which all the power to her.
I look at it this way: if she wants to do that, I say why don't you?
She's already proving that she's 10 times better in AEW and ROH than she was in WWE, and it's not even a
like I said.
Question.
If you really want to have her prove that, Athena, that she's like the best women's champion in the world, send her to Japan on an excursion. Not necessarily like a training excursion,
right?
But just have her go to Japan on excursion with AEW or Ring of Honor.
So this next match, it pains me to to see that the person that probably should have won didn't win this match.
Because
Mark Briscoe and Samoa Joe, these two men have history with each other, singles wise, and Mark Briscoe was bringing it, was trying everything he could, Jay Driller, trying to get his moves, and
he couldn't even hit the Jay Driller.
The redneck kung fu.
He did hit the froggy bow on Samoa Joe.
Right,
but that was
1-2 kick out, not enough at all.
Samoa Joe is just double tough, man.
Samoa Joe was able to, not even tap out Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, no, he made him. Well, actually,
he made him pass out.
Yeah. Now, see, if I'm Mark Briscoe, I would look to Darby Allin for advice on how to beat Samoa Joe. Because, after all, Darby was the one who initially beat Samoa Joe to become the TNT champion.
Right. Until,
And
Will Hobbs.
well,
Or
yeah,
House Hobbs.
defeated. Well,
Right.
until Wardlow defeated Joe at Revolution, and then
Mhm.
after Revolution, Hobbs beat
Right.
Wardlow. So, in which poor Wardlow, man. I know we
I
said
know,
it
he
before,
cannot
but like
catch a
he's
break.
just, well, not to mention like he also during like before Dynamite that week when he was defending it, he had his rental car broken into. So
Yeah, by QTV. Right.
but yeah, so
So it was actually broken into.
it was actually broken into. They just turned it into a storyline of like, oh yeah, no, QTV and his affiliates there did it. Like, yeah,
Right.
no, I'm not buying that.
But yeah, Samoa Joe does retain and knocks out Mark Briscoe to retain the television championship. Uh,
And speaking of the Ace,
yeah,
go Ace,
Daniel
Hiroshi
Garcia got
Tanahashi and Daniel
outclassed
Garcia.
by a professional
Oh yeah,
wrestler.
there ain't no sports entertainer about Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah, so about that, Daniel Garcia, that sports entertainers always beat professional
yes.
wrestlers.
We talked about it earlier in the show. He was missing his like two front teeth. I don't know how that happened or even like really why it happened, but yeah, Hiroshi Tanahashi was like missing some front teeth, almost like he was kind of channeling his inner like Mark Briscoe.
Yeah,
But the question remains now is like, is he actually gonna have work done to like put in teeth implants, or is he just
probably.
gonna, embrace and like
Garcia, I tell you what,
But oh my God,
ultimate
can we talk about the him doing the
the dancing, and
I
what
was
about
heavily
him
sports
mocking?
entertained.
He was also mocking Shinsuke Nakamura
Oh
too,
yes,
who is
yes.
Hiroshi Tanahashi's biggest rival.
Well, no. So they mentioned it on commentary. His new Three Amigos compatriot there, because yeah. So the new Three Amigos basically are Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Katsuyori Shibata, which we will talk about Katsuyori Shibata later in the show.
But yes, high fly flow from Hiroshi Tanahashi
Yes.
beats Daniel Garcia in
It's a
this match.
devastating maneuver, man.
It is.
It may seem and look just like a normal frog splash, but I can guarantee you it is not just any ordinary frog splash. Oh no. It does some damage.
Yes.
It'll keep you down for the 1, 2, 3.
No, it will.
There's a reason that it's a finish. That the high fly flow is Hiroshi Tanahashi's finisher.
Right.
And I was even saying this to Jason beforehand. I'm like, you cannot have a New Japan Pro Wrestling show, like even if it's a crossover or whatever, without Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Right, exactly. So we go on to our next match, the Reach for the Sky Ladder match.
Yeah.
Of 5 of the best tag teams for Ring of Honor, the Lucha Brothers, the Kingdom, LFI, Top Flight, and Aussie Open. Man, there were some crazy moments in this. I mean,
well, let's just take this moment to say our prayers for Dante Martin.
yes,
because
the crazy Canadian Destroyer through 4 double stacked tables.
Well, even just his landing, it forced his ankle to just compound fracture.
Yeah, his foot and everything.
It basically, like, okay, so if I could describe it to you guys in in simpler terms, Dante Martin basically pulled a Psycho Sid.
Right.
If you've seen the clip, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will say with this, I mean, there was a lot of other crazy spots too. I mean, the the ladder spot where like a broken half to
Well, it's funny because it broke in half, but it kind of like stayed. Like
right, yeah.
you could see the cracks in the ladder where it was like supposed to break, but it was still intact,
I mean,
kind of.
the
I mean, not for
the
nothing though. That's what
Canadian
happens when you
destroyer
have
through
wooden
the.
ladders.
I know that's true too. I mean, the
Sorry to
Canadians,
expose the business, everybody, but
the
yes, they use
Canadian.
wooden ladders and just spray paint it to whatever color it's supposed to
Well,
be.
yeah. I mean, it's probably cheaper that way too. But
Probably is, but you know.
and then yeah, and the crazy thing is like you know you knew this was going to be a highly anticipated match. There was going to be a lot of tables and or a lot of ladders being used as weapons and everything like that in this whole entire match. I mean, Aussie Open and Top Flight were trying to get into each other's minds even before the match. You can definitely tell that they got some kind of rivalry, but it's going to have to be on the back burners because of
Yeah.
Dante Martin being out on injury.
Top Flight just cannot catch a break, man. If it's not Darius getting injured, now it's Dante getting injured.
There was moments maybe where you thought Kingdom would be able to get in there. LA didn't really have many opportunities to get in there. Lucha Brothers are just the best tag team that's out there other than FTR right now.
I mean, after all, uh, the Lucha Brothers are the only team to have ever won the AAA, Ring of Honor, AEW, AAA, and MLW. Did I mention Impact?
I don't think so.
Well, either way,
You probably did, but
they are the only team to have ever won the Impact, AEW, AAA, ROH, like and MLW.
and don't forget that Lucha Brothers have also won the World Trios Tag Team titles with Pac
with
too.
Pac.
So they are
Triangle.
Synonymous to the tag team championships right now, and they are the best.
You want to talk about FTR being belt collectors? I kind of think, in their own way, that that the Lucha Brothers,
Cat's playing with a catnip toy,
and
I'm pretty sure it's a catnip toy, so he's probably higher than a
toy. Yeah,
he's higher
probably
than
higher than a kite right now. But either way,
sorry
the
guys. All right.
Lucha Brothers.
Yes, the Lucha Brothers ultimately do get the victory.
Like in their own way, they're kind of like a belt,
belt honestly, they kind of are, but they don't. They're not as good as FTR, having like three
multiple
titles
at
once. Yes,
like FTR was, because like they were pretty much those tag team belt collectors there for.
But you never know; they might end up being the belt collectors and could regain the AEW World Tag Team titles.
That is true.
Like that
is true. I mean, but
we don't know what is FTR's fate. We don't know what the Guns will do afterwards, and you never know.
I look at it this way, man.
If Lucha Brothers are going to go after those AEW tag team titles.
I look at it this way: if FTR does not win the AEW tag team titles from the Guns, if anything, where I would like to see them personally go, Impact Wrestling.
Right.
Have that match, proper match, against the Motor City Machine Guns. And especially if you want to continue them winning tag team titles like everywhere, have them go up against the Guns for those New Japan Strong openweight tag team titles.
Right.
So earn another championship in New Japan.
Our thoughts are out to Dante Martin for hopefully a speedy recovery, and then FTR come out and show what's up.
Better yet, have them compete against Bullet Club for those Impact tag team titles.
That would be cool.
They've already teased it at WrestleCon.
And then FTR after the match, show some respect to the Lucha Brothers along with Mark Briscoe. I mean that's awesome. I mean
that the Reach for the Sky ladder match, it made the most sense for Mark to come on down and but see the confusing part to that was like Mark had both of the original titles, and it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, so is Mark gonna keep those?
You
Like,
would,
is he gonna
he
come out
has
with them
to.
and keep them?
I mean, he
But
might, but he would have to at least keep them
well, I don't
both
know about
in his
that because
collection.
honestly, what I was gonna say, if not come out to them on the show, at least like keep them personally.
Yeah, I think he's gonna keep them personally. Like those original ROH tag team titles are synonymous to the Briscoe brothers, so he deserves them. He deserves them himself. I mean, actually, I think they should be given to the mom. I think the mom should be able to
Oh,
keep
oh,
both of
what?
those
Or you're
original
talking
tag team
about Papa
titles.
Briscoe there, or Mama
Mama
or
and
Papa Briscoe?
yeah, I think both of them, Mama and Papa Briscoe, should be able to um, keep the original ROH. I mean, why not? Best way to remember,
Their son.
their son, Jamin Pugh. Better yet than having both the ROH tag team titles right there in their house. That'd be cool. So we get on to our second to last
Yeah,
match: Katsuyori Shibata against Wheeler Yuta for the Pure Wrestling Championship.
I don't even think the match
Pupil versus
lasted.
you got
Student
master,
versus teacher.
yeah, student versus teacher.
Well,
As
that's the
Wheeler
thing too.
Yuta
I
was
don't
in the
even
LA
think.
dojo
Yeah,
in New Japan Strong.
I don't even think the match lasted 15 minutes, did it?
I don't think so. I mean, it
Well, I mean,
was
you factor in all the entrances and everything. It totaled out to about like 15, 16 minutes. I'm pretty sure, because if I remember
yeah,
correctly,
a 60-minute
the
time limit.
yeah,
It didn't even
I was gonna
go
say I'm pretty sure the clock
anywhere
showed
close.
like 13 minutes or so, and then like I said, you got to factor in the entrances for
Right.
both men. So it all in all, the match itself took about like 15, 16 minutes, which is shocking for
I know
the
Wheeler Yuta almost used up all of his
he used two. He used
almost
two of
used
his
up.
rope breaks,
Yeah, because
and
the
he
submissions
used
that Shibata were using
well,
on Wheeler Yuta were too much
not to
for him
mention
to.
he Yuta used a closed fist to the
Yes, he did.
face.
He kind of
He
had
got
no
that
choice,
warning.
even though he cheated and used a low blow
Well,
without
yeah,
the ref seeing it.
he like pushed the ref out of the way to low blow Shibata, but ultimately it was not enough to have Yuta retain. Katsuyori
The
Shibata,
chopping battle,
yeah.
as
Oh my
Shibata just
God, yeah.
took those shots to the chest and weren't doing anything to him.
You
I
know
tell
what
you
I did
what,
not realize?
Japanese wrestlers are just built differently.
Oh yeah. You know what I did not realize though? Keep in mind, Katsuyori Shibata is 43 years old.
Really, he does
Yes,
not look
I
43.
know. I was saying that earlier when I found out. I'm like, man,
He's in really good shape for 43 years old.
yeah.
I tell you that.
Well, not to mention, he's literally coming back from a career-threatening injury that happened like not even what it happened a while ago, but like I'm pretty sure um, what ended up happening with that is like he like busted up his knee or something like that, and it was possible that his career was over, and now here he is as the Ring of Honor Pure Champion.
Yeah,
He
he
beat
he tapped
he
out.
no he used the PK, that penalty kick.
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because what
That's
ended
right.
up happening is like I'm pretty sure what it was is like he had Yuta in a submission, then he broke it up to sit Yuta up to go off the ropes and hit that PK on Yuta to get the win.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked a little bit by the ending and a little bit about the match. I'm like,
That's his finish though.
I
The
know
PK.
it just
The,
like
the
it
penalty
seemed like
kick.
weird because like it felt like this match was just like kind of rushed to like end
Yeah,
in a
because
way.
I feel like they needed to give that match all the time, which was a bit like but weird.
But again, this pay-per-view was only like less than 3 hours long. Could have
Yeah.
had it a little bit longer, maybe 3.5 hours or something like that, and
Well, I
extended
don't
this
know
match a
because
little bit more.
maybe Tony Khan was like maybe it's different for ROH in terms of like they got to be done by a certain time for those pay-per-views as opposed to like AEW potentially. Like I could be wrong on that,
Eh,
but I don't
so
know.
what?
I mean, well, either way, because you know, the main event, kind of after the main event,
Pay-per-views usually nowadays are like 4 or 5 hours.
I
This one
know.
was like 3.
Well, if we're
Not
talking the
even that.
main show, yeah, I was like, but if you're talking the main show and the
I mean, yeah,
pre-show,
4 hours altogether, but still. But either way, I mean, congratulations to Shibata. I guess he, deserves being the pure wrestling champion.
I mean,
As
they
it's been
said it.
stated that he
The
wants to.
commentators said it themselves. That belt was pretty much made for Shibata. Oh, and by the way, we did not even mention this. Um, Nigel McGuinness is back
Oh yes,
with Ring
yes,
of Honor.
yes. He is back with
He
Ring
was
of
on the
Honor as a
commentary table,
commentator.
but it kind of leads you to beg the question of like, is that the only thing that he's doing?
I think so. I don't think he's going to come back and compete, honestly.
I mean, no, he's definitely not going to compete, but I think he might be involved in like a more, like in more of like a backstage role potentially.
He might. Who knows? Either way, honestly, I think it's awesome to see him back and being the longest reigning pure wrestling
Yeah,
champion as well as a former
former
ROH
Ring of Honor
world
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 Champion.
champion.
Yep.
Yes. So, speaking of the world championship,
Yeah.
we get onto our main event as Claudio Castagnoli faces off against Eddie Kingston.
A 15-year-long rivalry
Yes.
culminating at Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor.
Yes. I will say that, Eddie Kingston, there was a lot of moments where maybe he could actually get it done. Maybe he can actually do what he's never been able to do before and becoming a world champion. And finally, hopefully, bringing some honor to that championship or some honor to ROH.
Well, I mean, Claudio's words
Let me tell you something.
stung very deep because, not for nothing, Claudio looked right at Eddie Kingston and he said, "A man without honor will never be Ring of Honor champion."
Well,
So,
I mean, unfortunately, it's still maybe the case. I mean, as these two men were bringing it to each other. I mean, stiff shots, chops, everything.
yeah.
I mean, Eddie Kingston was trying to bring that street fighting into Claudio, but Claudio was not having it. Claudio was uppercutting him as much as he can. Ultimately, does get the victory and beats Eddie Kingston to retain the ROH World Championship. But then afterwards, Katsuyori Shibata comes
Well,
out.
Yuta came out first, and then it seemed like they were gonna corner Eddie, and that's when
Shibata
Shibata came
sided
out.
with Kingston as Blackpool Combat Club walks away. What could this mean? Are we going to see a tag
It's
team match
possible we're
between
gonna see a tag team
Shibata
match.
and Eddie and Kingston and Blackpool Combat Club?
It's possible, but let's talk about
But
after everything at all. Eddie Kingston asked for a microphone. He looks at, he's like, "How much time I got?" He's like, "Oh, we got a minute. All right, fuck shit, motherfucker. I don't care.
yeah,
HR's gonna find me, whatever." You know,
I know it was great.
it was great. That like I don't know why that moment is still funny to me.
yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know
great
why.
to see. But he even after everything he says that he will beat Claudio's ass.
I think I this story is far from over.
Unfortunately, as much as I want to agree, when is that going to exactly happen?
Well, yeah, but I mean, either way, it's safe to say the story is
At
not
Death
over.
Before Dishonor, at Final Battle, like we want to know when exactly he's gonna beat Claudio's ass because if you were gonna beat Claudio's ass, you would have done it at Supercard of Honor, and unfortunately, that didn't happen. So this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Sorry it was a little bit longer than we probably originally expected, but when breaking news happens, we got to talk about it. So make sure to follow us on social media at Tinkle Sports. Of course, over there, you want to follow that channel. You know you do. Tinkle Sports and Entertainment on YouTube. We also are every Wednesday at 5 p.m. We have Sunday morning Tinkle at every Sunday at 9, and on a turn 4 every Tuesday at 5. If you also don't want to watch the show, you can watch Sunday Morning Tinkle and also out of turn 4. But if you do want to watch us, make sure to watch us every Wednesday at 5 p.m. So we would like to hear about what you think about the move for WWE joining up with
Endeavor.
Endeavor. And as always, we will catch you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.